How's it, Mike? It's going to be a couple of minutes as per normal, and then we can start as per normal at 4 o'clock. I thought you were there. I just could have sworn you were there. Okay, never mind. Sometimes good.
No, I went and had a game of golf this morning.
You went, did a what, sorry?
I went and had a game of golf this morning.
Oh, you had a game of golf. Oh, very nice. Okay, what do you shoot?
101.
Okay, it's fair enough. No problem. Yeah, can't say in my lifetime I've been above 100 a few times myself. Yeah, and trouble with me is I'm not the world's most patient, and I usually use it in the short game. Hi, Bill. Got a bit of apology to make to you. Just written down here, NZDJPY 8470. You were quite right. I don't know. I had my stop at 8420. I don't know, but you're quite right. So yeah, just want to say that as you joined. Let's wait for 4 o'clock. I must admit, say the markets can go figure. The yields are through the roof. The dollar's a hell of a strong. That means NASDAQ and everything else should be flying off. Well, it's not exactly going up, but it's not exactly flying off either. That's what I say, this NASDAQ can sometimes go and scratch your head. Not whinging, I mean, it's come off. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, the yields, the two indicators, like the yields and the exchange rate, extremely negative for the markets. I was listening to Bloomberg a bit earlier on, and there's some backup from what I've been saying there by these $1 million a year specialists, not more $1 million a year, some of the head of hedge fund companies with $1 billion, hundreds of millions or whatever. And they're saying, yeah, some saying US recession is taking place. Some will go into next year. Some fairly optimistic that it will take place later on next year. But everyone says the recession's coming, and yeah, some of the downside, and more exactly what I've been saying. Well, I've been echoing what they've been saying. Chevron, look about it. Some of they're echoing me. But yeah, it's nice to have a bit of backup. The so-called experts, the hedge fund managers, the fund managers, the top points you forget on there, and saying that, yeah, the pullback is definitely on the way. So short the rallies. Okay. And it's getting extremely strong. No surprise there. Well, I am surprised, like I mentioned, what the hell's the Nasdaq doing there? It should be about 11.6 and going down. I think it will do, but I mean, get on with it.
Good afternoon, Roger. Just a quick question. What
Go
did
for
you
it.
say is that UK website that you joined for all your streaming and so forth? I missed that this morning. It's funny.
UK website.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Oh,
that
yes,
you-
sorry. Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's apropos, nothing to do with the markets. Beg your pardon. I'll write it down now.
Thank you so much. I would really appreciate it to have a look at it. And what happened to the yen? I see I was stop loss on both NZD as well as euro.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, the talk from the Japanese is they're not going to get hawkish just yet. So because the Hinds are not going to get hawkish, I would have thought a bit more weakening of the yen, or at least in the yen, not a bit of strength. So sometimes markets do behave to everybody, not scientifically. And this is purely my opinion as to why. I think I mentioned before, so there's nothing new on this. The retail market since COVID has increased exponentially. It used to be a minor area, but now it is still a minor compared to institutions, which they call the wholesale area, by the way. But it's still gone up so much now that it's now become a factor. That's all very fine. The problem is, and sorry to be quite honest with you, the retail market, majority of them haven't got much luck for them to be horribly nasty. And they tend to trade purely on emotions rather than any form of strategy. So they can often, the collective amount of them doing it can often stuff the system up. And that's not just my opinion, by the way. There's a couple of conversations going on about that the retail market are having a play on it, but not always a very positive play, because they don't sort of obey the rules. You know what I mean? I hope you see what I'm getting at there. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, you know, I mean, it's like if you play blackjack, you sit next to a guy and he's got 16 and he goes and doubles up. He gets to 10 and you wonder why. You know what I mean? The trouble is, what he's done, he's pitched the 10 from the guy who wanted the 10, who's sitting next to him on his left, on the 11 and wanted the 10. So, yeah. And the guy asked him why. He says, well, I only had 16, so I thought I'd draw another one. That was a sort of, the strategy in play. I think you're getting what I'm coming from this, because sometimes some of the movements, they go figure. And I think it's obviously, I just think sometimes it's a little bit of large retail markets doing their thing. Anyway, okay. But anyway, it's britishtv.org. You get a free week for it. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with the product except for two things. Number one, you need fiber. If you've got normal Wi-Fi, you need a lot of buffering. You're going to have hassles, and it'll get in your nerves. You know what I mean? It's 3 minutes left, and coming into the Rugby World Final, and suddenly you lose the reception. You know what I mean? Because it's buffering. So you need you need that. And what was the other thing is, it chows it. So you absolutely have to have totally unlimited, because I say it chows it. It's not, what's the IT word for it, where they compress it, like on YouTube and Netflix and BritBox. There's no compression there. I think a lot of it's pinched, actually, because you get so much product for your money. I think it's just sort of pinched elsewhere because the value is so extraordinarily high. So I think it's just straightforward and uncompressed for you. So I'm not an IT guy. So it will chow it up. Say you got, so you need a minimum 20, preferably more, megs per second fiber, and expecting if you're using a lot for sport and the news, and Bloombergs and the Netflixes and the films and the American, the Australian, the South African stuff. Oh, there's so much on there. Expect 200 or 300 gigs or more, depending on which time you watch TV. Just that's the only thing. Otherwise, the product's phenomenal.
No,
For-
all right. Thank you
That's
very much.
£8 a month. Try it out for a month. Do it for a week for free if you're happy. Try a month for £8. Whatever the exchange rate is, £18. And if you like it, buy a year. I bought a year, £1,000 for that kind of entertainment for a year. I mean, it's can't beat it. Extraordinary value.
No, excellent. Thank you.
And you're
very
paying
much.
over £1 a month for TV. What the hell for? I've had a TV now for 2 or 3 years. No point. More, in fact. No point. What I had it for was more like money for sport. I get it on there. And then all the other stuff, it's most of it I don't watch anyway on the DSTV. And the other stuff is all there anyway on the others. What's the point? So rather spend your money on a decent fiber and then get the streaming stuff. Then you have it your choice. I really mean that, yeah.
No, thanks.
Anyway. Okay, pleasure. Getting off it a bit now. So yeah, this NASDAQ start off with it is making a lot of sense. I mean, the dollar's nice. Just let this guy finish in a second. Now, where's that going off?
Sorry, Roger, we can't see you again.
Okay,
Next
so
would be the
you
first
keep
one.
reminding me. Thank you. You should be able to see some of me now. Okay, don't see the whole lot. You'll have nightmares. Okay, where was that? The dollar's doing hell of a fine. Well, if you find a way around that, Zeph, go for it. I don't know. That's what I do. Okay, where are we? Let's get back on track now. Yeah, it's the dollar's high. Go back to the yields. The yields at not only over 3.5% now. It's now 3.57. So it's 3.575. So it's nearly 3.6%. So it's shot up. I know the Nasdaq is tech stuff, but the Dow's come nicely off. 376 down and going. So what the hell is the Nasdaq doing up there? So I think when it does come up, probably attracting a few guys to think maybe go and buy it. You know, teasing them to go and do something daft like buy it, grab them, and then knock them out of their stops and shoot down again. Because I don't know what the hell it's doing up there. It should be down at least approaching 11.6 and falling. Anyway, we'll see what happens. That's my take on that. Gold looked at. Don't think people too keen. Looking back's a bit of a pity at 1775. Come off. Well, remember, gold goes inversely proportional to all things being sensible. Things happen in a normal world, you know. The dollar being strong, anti-gold. Absolutely, yields being strong, anti-gold. So I expect there's some more coming off on that. We should be joining it now. We should have maybe should have pushed it harder this morning. Anyway, it didn't. There it is. Okay, look at some other stuff. Again, I apologize to you, Adele, for that. Did have a stop at NZDJPY at 70, and it gets stopped out there. Mine was lower. I don't know why. Anyway, we got it there. I'm sorry, 84.70. Some was stopped out, but anyway, I think it's going to hold. I think it's overcooked. It's on the 15 minutes. Go to the daily. That to me is overcooked. The yen, I don't sustain that. As I said, mentioned just now, unless they change their mind, they're not particularly hawkish. So that's a hell of a pullback on the yen being over weak. Now it's a bit over strong. I don't see what's going to hold that back going up. So anyway, there it is. I think it's going to recover. And not much fun for the guy stopped out. Not sure you'll be joining it now, but not against it if you do. Okay, so sorry about that, but no, so good. CADJPY. God, it's giving me some jib. That was nicely going strong. And then look at the bloody thing. Back down there again. We had the, whatchamacallit out, just a second, I'm trying to do 3 things at once here. The core CPI, expected 0.5, came at 0. So CPI was less inflationary. So it's less inflation. That should, in theory, be good for Canada. Well, as it turned out, it had the opposite effect. Because it was less inflationary, they think that it won't be necessary to get too tough on the interest rates. So not getting too tough on increasing interest rates, they thought that because it's not as inflationary, so that suddenly weakened the Canadian. We're not talking about that. Strengthen the yen, we're not talking about that. It's one way around. So suddenly we came back because of that. Get me studying right now. It's confusing me after that. Right, so the core CPI was less. So as a result of it, we did have a weakening of the actual CAD. Now, sometimes, as a guy who's not joined me yet, was asking how these fundamentals affect you. And that's why rather
I'm here.
looking after, oh, there you are, great.
I'm here, Yoko. I mean,
Okay,
Roger, yeah.
I've got you, I've got you. Right, hang on, I'm moving the thread here. Right, where the hell was I? Yeah. Now, remember, be aware of them, but don't try and get too clever. Can you see what the market's going to take from it? Sometimes you think that should be bullish and it's bearish, depending on where the economy is worldwide and the expectations. Sometimes you could see, well, that's pretty good news. Why is it coming off? Because it could be maybe because it's fairly good news, they can hold back on interest rates or the increase or lowering the increase rates of interest rates. It depends how the big boys perceive that news coming in. And it might not always be as straightforward as you think. So with a bit of experience and getting to know it after a while, you get a bit of a feeling for it. But even with that, don't try and get cute on it. If you see it happening, don't think it's going to do that or that might happen. There's no such thing as a no-brainer. Rather see it play out and see how the market reacts. Sometimes immediate, sometimes it takes a moment or two. Remember how it works out there. Market's made up of buyers and sellers, and you need a product to sell. Now, I need some Canadian to buy or sell, and I need that currency. So I see all the retail guys there sitting with the SLs there, for argument's sake. Sorry, guys, got to fed up to them. You tend to get picked on because they have the expertise. And they'll say, right, we'll push this down. We'll do a bit of selling, get the guys stopped out and grab their products. We need it. You know what I'm saying? You need the product. So that occasionally occurs as well. So that's why the movement between 107.70 and 107.60 or 107.50 and 107.90 is virtually impossible to call because there's so many variables fundamentally and takes as what's happening around the world. Remember, we're little South Africa here. This is a worldwide play. Trillions of dollars contract value are traded a day. Trillion, not billion, trillions a day. The euro dollar itself is over a trillion, 1 million US dollars, as in over 17 million rand per day. Contract value, remember, these are deposits, these are leverage instruments done. So with that kind of playing around liquidity, you can expect there's an enormous amount of sort of retail movements in, variables, etc. So the short-term movement, let's say I'm going to buy this right now. That's fine, not a problem. I still see the Canadian's going to go up. So if you want to buy it right now and it comes off a bit, because it's coming off in panic, it come off 30 pips. That's why you need a wider stop to make up for this noise. When you first start, it's horrendous because you think it's going to go from A to B in a linear line. No, it's not. You can start off in Joburg, get to Heidelberg, comes back to Pretoria, goes down to Harry Smith, then comes back to Heidelberg, then he goes to Pietermaritzburg, then he comes back to Joburg, then eventually arrives in Durban. Slight exaggeration, but you've got to sort of pick up that kind because there's so many people with different strategies, different monies, different knowledge, different fundamental takes, different notions out there playing around. So you've got to take an overall view. And so far, we haven't been doing too badly. It's inevitable. It's suddenly going to say, go figure, and not happen. I just mentioned that in the NASDAQ now. Why is it not flying off with that sort of thing happening? So you've got to have the stop loss. You've got to make sure you get your position sizing correct to make up for those go figures. Almost like you're driving properly and it's not your fault. It did say green, the traffic lights. You didn't know some idiot was going to shoot through. So if you said, oh, it's green, oh, don't worry about my seatbelt, I'm going to shoot across. All right, wasn't your fault. That idiot broke through the red to hit you, but you're still going to be in hospital. So still be circumspect. I hope that sort of makes understood. Okay, and it's going to happen, yeah. Yeah, Walk's just near Potch, I think, somewhere out there. So it's not so far from Joburg. If you want to get together sometime and have a brain picking session, leave me some brain left. I haven't got a lot left, actually. Yeah, where were we? CAD JPY. So, I mean, if you're not in it, I'm still positive on it. I think that was just a bit of a hiccup in the fundamentals. I don't think it's going to last. And I still see the upside is going to continue. So if you're in, hold on. If you're not in, get in, basically. Okay. So I'll leave that to you. If anyone wants to get in, we'll do a risk reward. But yeah, I see upside on this one. Right, let's have a look at a couple of the others while you tell me what you want to do on that. Let's have a look at a couple of these Euro ones. EURAUD. Did we get anything on the EURAUD? I can't, there's so many down there. NZD short. Wonder if I think that ship might have sailed, to be honest. That ship might have sailed. If you want to join it now, tonight. I still see downside. Well, it's not genius to see that, but the extent of it after that, before a lot of profit take come in, and quite frankly, a lot of emotional profit taking. Remember I mentioned about the retail trade. Oh, I'm up a bit. Don't have to go away. Oh, I'm so frightened. I'm going to quickly take it. And that, to get it, they got to buy to get out, and that will affect the price. Not you alone, but I mean, a lot of people think that they're collectively. Okay? I don't know. The downside I see. Do you want to chase it? Yeah, I'm not keen. I'd rather get in the cab. I'm not keen now. It's down. I think the ship sailed. I'm not sure I want to be joining it now. It's right around figure 59. Might get a bounce, might go through. If you want to do it, do it. I'm not keen. But if you want to do it, Mikel, give me the figures and I'll put in, we'll have a look at it, see what to join you. But for the record, I'm not keen. CAD Yen, I like it for a buy. Yeah. Come back, had a bit of a hiccup from the fundy there, etc. Hope you got that, Nyasha. Be aware of it. You got the quite right. You got the economic calendar. Keep an eye on it, but just wait to see the interpretation. If you click on investing.com and see it's higher, it'll weaken it, blur that. That's just a hell of a broad statement. It's how it's interpreted, and that could be different to the norm. So just be aware of it, but don't try and get too cute to interpret it. Okay, hope that sort of answers your question. That's why you get a high CPI the other day, and the dollar shot through the roof. Why? Because it's inflationary, more pressure on the Fed to increase price interest rates. Sorry, I just want to go back on that. On interest rates as well, it does get to a stage where, because the interest rates get too high, it can have a strangling effect on the economy, because the guys now can't afford to buy stuff. So therefore, it gets to a stage to increase it any further, it will actually weaken the currency. So as I say, it takes a bit of experience, nothing quite as straightforward as you'd think. A lot of guys come in right at the beginning, bought it, be bought into this. Clearly, it's new normal human reaction. Want to be a surgeon pretty damn quickly. It takes a bit of time, and you'll pick it up, especially on the macroeconomic front. But don't try and cute it, don't try and trade it. Just bear in mind, and it'll start to fall into place. But give it some time. You didn't get your driving lesson after one shot. Okay. To look at the situation it is. And attend the trader room and fire these questions. And usually, not always, but usually I can come up with some sort of reasonable answer if it does go haywire. Why does it go haywire? Oh, you lost a couple of bucks, but that's not good, but you need your position size right. So there be it. And looking back, that's probably how it's interpreted. So we weren't wrong, we just the interpretation was unexpected. Okay. So I want to buy this. Let me sell it. Buy the yen. The yen's give enough chip. JPY's give enough chip, and I want to buy it. Yeah. How far down here? It's too far. Down here. Yeah, I should do it. Have a decent stop below that low here, which was on the 6th of September. What's the day now? About 3 weeks ago, wherever it is. 2 weeks ago. So take it 20, just over 2 weeks ago. Yeah, have it down there. 106. Call it 106.80. Only if you're not in, please, guys. I keep saying that, but still people double up. You've got to get that budget right. If you can afford to buy one TV set, go and buy two, and it can't bloody last the rest of the month. You've spent too much. Right, I'll go back to 110. That should do the job. Remember, modify, might not get there. Bloody hell, thought that'd be all a given. 106, because it's in the wrong place. That's why I thought that was rubbish. There we are, that's better. In fact, even it's slightly wider. There we are. There we are. That's perfect, right? 120 odd rand a micro. There you are. I like it, yeah. If you're not in, I'm already in, I'm sitting in there, etc. I think the guys are still in. It's given us a bit of a funny run around, but if you're not in, go for it. Okay, good stuff. There, Adele, you got it on there. A pair, as in the eating pair there, Mike. I'm just teasing, I know what you mean. Well, you're English speaking, aren't you? So I can't tease you. I can never tease another guy in another language. Just start speaking to me ears and then we'll tie me up in knots. No, this is a new trade. What have you had before? Do what you like with it. This is a new trade. Okay, Mike. And I'm getting some backing from Manera Brown. Just gonna just do this before we go back to the others. Okay. Okay, have you all got that? I'm not going to write it down because we've already got it written down before, but those who missed it can join it. Those on board, stick with it. Okay. Happy, can I move on? I'm going to move on here. We've got some stuff to get through here. I know Mike will get my back. He'll come and throw custard pies at me if I get onto his AUD CAD. I know that, hey, Mike? AUD CAD. Ah, what do you want to do with this apart from sell it? This looks like a seller note, technically speaking. Plus, I like the CAD, and I think that AUD is weaker. Where do you find this one from? Did you work this out from just experience and technical analysis? This, to me, when we get too carried away, you put the commentator's curse on it. This looks like a bit of a beaut to me. Are we in this one? Don't think we are. Bloody hell. Do you just take a thumb suck or just have to look at it in the charts and what you learned here, Mike? Because that looks an absolute bloody beaut to me. Well, if you sold it, you've been all right because it's come off a little bit. Came off earlier on today anyway. But I wouldn't stick with it too long. Anyway, right. First of all, does anybody not see what's pretty good? It's recovered right up to the 50-day moving average. This, remember, is universally used. It's in the sell zone. The AUD still is in the middle weight. The CAD is in the heavyweight. And it's at a nice rally up. Now it looks like it's a very good chance of grabbing a very nice short. That's why I looked at when I saw it. I thought, hang on, I want to get to that with a bit of experience. You'll get there, Del, because you have the interest. But it's important that other people are trying to get it as well, because they've got to see pretty quickly, because time is money. I spent hours to feather out. Remember, I looked at it, bloody hell, that's quick, almost immediately. Now, we don't want to get too carried away. Let's look at the weekly first. It's below the weekly, 10 times weekly. So that's the good news. Let's have the 4 hour. It's in the middle zone. I get you on the 4 hour, but it's a bit of resistance on the 4 hour. And we're going to have a stop above that. It's only 25 pips. That's, if it goes up to 20 pips, that's not going to hurt anybody. So that's not an issue. Now, the next thing, are we getting any confirmation of a pullback? Not on the hour. What about the 15? Not on the 15. So before we jump into it, just hang a few minutes to see, unless you're going to, mind you're going to get a lower price out of Curse. You might want confirmation or see solid going. That's only 35, 58, and still go up. Yeah, we can have let's make it here. A 90 pip stop. It was there in 31st, what's that, about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite surprised to shoot all the way up there. Then you know you got it wrong. And if you do, you're annoyed. It's not to break your heart because you got your position sizing right, and you know it's part of the game. So I do like this. Good idea of mine. Hey, what do you think, Mike? We'll see if it works out before I get too cute. Hey, that's just that's not good enough. Where do I want to put it? I want to put it 90 above. What's 90 above? That 90 above that is 90. We're going short, are we? 90 20. No, that's wrong. So I made a right. Pick zero there. I can do the maths myself these days. No, I want it up there, man. Up there. That's where I want it. There. A little bit. That's where I want it. Why did I put it right up there? I put it 90 20. What? My maths is right, but you think was wrong. been a right salt. 87.55. That should do it 2 to 1 or so. Yeah, 2 to 1 on that. What a pleasure. What do you think? I hear you with regards to right. You look at this guy. I'm just reading this out. I hear you with regards to everything to wait for the price sector to come out. Also, from what I gather, CPI inflation was antagonist to interest rate. Not always, but sometimes, yes. Am I right? It truly does. Remember, countries, unless they're trying to pay off massive debt, like after going to the Second World War, when that massive debt came in through to reparations after the First World War, wiped out the debt. When you have a billion rand to the dollar or something, you wipe your debt out. But that's extreme circumstances. Most countries, functioning economies, need a bit of inflation because they need the growth and they need the jobs, etc. But they don't want to getting out of hand where it gets to the stage where nobody saves and then they start losing jobs. They've got a problem. So they want to keep that inflation under control. So sort of yes, okay. Well, as far as the Fed would have it, when the one goes up, the Fed will wrap it. In theory, yes, but they can't overdo it. If they keep putting the interest rates up, they'll kill the economy because then people can't borrow. They go into debts, and now they've got massive debts on the credit cards, on the cars, and the houses, go into negative equity. People lose their jobs because a lot of stuff is bought on credit. Remember, most businesses can't survive without debt. I mean, you're selling a 20,000 rand product. If you're selling 20,000 rand product, you can't sell it unless you can get credit. Because not everyone's got 20 grand to write a check for. Very few, in fact. So if the interest rate's too high, and then they suddenly think, hang on, if I pay this off, I'm going to be paying for 50 grand, for 20 grand, because the interest, then they won't buy it. You get the idea. So it's then the increase in interest rates will have a negative effect on the currency. But that's the sort of overall picture, but you get the idea. But there you are. That's it. That's the one, yeah? Does anybody want to do this one? I want to long this one. If I did, I must have been on the buddy smoking some good stuff. But I think AUD against the CAD. I'm not sure I said that and you're teasing me. It must have been something else. If I did, I do apologize, guys. I must have been on Phillips whiskey or something. Is he here to be teased? Because I can't see myself saying that. But I'm not one argue, nobody care. We moved on. Okay, right. Just there, we've got Adele on. Ricky's in. Oh, fine, he's in. Right, let's put this down. Just remember the very important rule in the trading room. It's minimum 2 votes, and the female counts as 2 votes. So that's all I need. Just joking, guys, just joking. Well, 89.32. 0. What we got here? It's 90.20. 0.8755. Okay, so that goes. Great stuff. Hang on, that was my. Okay. Right. Well, Spotty might watch. Jump the gun. Might be a disaster. All stopped out. But at the moment, I'd say, well, Spotty. Okay. Right. Hope you all got that. Written it down. We'll always come back to it. CHFJPY rings a bell. I think we are. Or where's the CHJ? Oh, no, we were. But I put it through. We joined that on the 19th, yesterday, and we were so far up, I just put I put a tick through it, says a winning trade. It's come off a bit, but it was up so high, I think most of you guys stopped out. I think it was up a heck of a higher than that. Yeah, it was 149 something. So some of you guys might have been stopped out in the profit on that. If you're not, make sure you get your profit, for goodness sake, get your stop loss into profit. Can't say any more. I mean, please listen to me, guys. Do not turn a winner into a loser. If you got your stop loss way below entry, there's 100 pips in profit, you leave it there, and some fundamental comes out and stuffs the system, you will not be a happy chappy, and you can't blame us. You can only blame yourself. Okay. But it's in profit. Make sure you don't lose out. Okay. There's a couple of others. Let's go look at the euro. The euro, one of them was giving me some serious jip. I think it was the NZD one, that's right. So we've got a couple out here. Just trying to find them all there. Euro CHF. Yeah, we've done that one. Oh yeah, sorry. Euro CHF. Let's have a look. That was a sell, 96.85. Actually, even better. It's popped up a bit, but it's doing very well. It came down to one stage on the daily. Yeah, it came down to 32. But anyway, it's in a nice little profit. So 85, it's 35 in profit. Yeah, I know what I said earlier on to you, Adele, but the guys on the trading room haven't moved the stop loss, maybe bring it down to entry. Okay, at least bring it down to entry. Okay, Euro AUD, AUD. That was a sell. What we got there? 49.32. A sell, and Zeph had a buy. 49.32. Slightly in favor of the sellers at the moment, but we're not quite enough for us to jump up and down and gloat like mad, because it's only, what, 12, 13 pips in profit. At least it's on our side. So it's 15 left to us at the moment against the Zemash Brigade, and they're becoming quite a force of trading marine nature. So just got to keep an eye on them. So yeah, they've got a pretty strong serve, those two, but to the moment, it's 12, 13 pips up. Okay, EURNZD at 69, but I think some guys want it later. What a pleasure. EURNZD, what's it doing? It's trying to come off. It's trying to come off. It's all the best I can say. It should be coming off. In theory, it should be doing well. I'll put it on weekly for you. It's right up there. And that's why I was quite strong on the selling of it. That's right, it was Adele I spoke to. You can see what I meant by that. Look at that enormous movement upwards. And I come and suggested to you, remember, the sell. You think this guy cracked up at last. The TR strain has got to him. Well, that was the thing that I thought might help me along. It was a 200 moving average, and I think the euro's overcooked, and it's not as strong as the world's ever seen. So I thought that's overdone. Could be a pullback. And I think when you got in, you are in a profit on that. So that should be okay. And I think we should get a bit more further downside. So that hopefully okay. To join it now, let's get away. Don't think I'm totally against that either. Okay, no, I just changed my mind. The reason why, good stuff, Adele. The reason I'm saying not join it now, if you're not on board, if you're on board, stick with it. I'm talking about guys who are going to join it. Please listen to the words I'm saying, because I'm getting this time and time again. That's not an order to get in now. So I don't mean get out, stay with it. Now, the reason why I'm changing my mind is because at 7 o'clock, Lagarde is speaking. I trust you all know who she is, because they don't know about her again and again. She is the president of the European Central Bank. She is the European answer to Jerome Powell. Okay, right. So she's speaking at 7. So if she's bullish, it could have some effect on the euro and strength, or she might be fairly, or depends. I don't know what the big boys will interpret what she's got to say. Some will interpret not what she means, like I often have that problem myself. It's not what I meant, guys. A bit late now. There's $1 trillion wiped off the market and you've been stopped out. So maybe you should hang 5 if you're not in. If you are in, hold on. And yeah, once you get a decent profit, start modifying the stock in the normal way. No, all it means is you work out a risk reward. Simple as that. I don't mind having a 200 pip stop. I don't mind having a stop up there. But if you have a stop up there, what's that now? That's 900 pips away. You've got to be looking at least at 1,500 pips TP. So why would you have a TP down this sort of level here? Because some people have different strategies. That's the beauty of the liquidity of the market. You've always got a buyer and a seller. You think, well, hang on a minute. If everyone's taking profit selling there, how can they get out? Because somebody's got to take the opposite side. Because a large amount of guys, a much longer term, will have that stop up there, and their TPs will be, will be down there somewhere, because they're looking at maybe a month or two, sometimes several months. Everyone's got different strategies. That's why you got liquidity. But hopefully you won't see me putting a trade idea in where it's 100 Rand risk to make 100 Rand profit. You get my pick. You get my point there, Roddy Sharma. So that if the TP, sorry, the SL is not a thumbs up. number one. Number two, you got to put it where you think it's going to be out the way. If you put it in the way, you're going to get stopped out in the noise. And sometimes you have a trade where it's 60 pips away and sometimes 90 pips away. Okay, that's why you look, that's why you have a position calculator. And if it's a pip, if it's 90 pips away, well, obviously you can have a wider TP. If you got a 60 pip stop, well, then there's a tighter one. But there's no yardstick there. You've got to put it out the way. So yeah, I'll go back here to make sure everyone's getting this. Put a daily chart. And that's not going to work. If I'm going to put the stop there, it's completely bloody pointless. I can say, oh, it's only 10 pip risk. I'll pile in on that one, and you stop out, you lose your costs. No, you've got to put it out the way. That's why out the way. I'd like in theory to put it there. But then you're looking there at a 400 pip stop. That's not worth bracket unless you're long term. So I'm going to try and put it out the way above that, and see where it's going to be within reason. Can I do that? Yeah, I can sort of do about 80, 90. Once I go about 100 pips, I start saying maybe wait for a rally, get a better price, or miss the trade. That's just my ballpark. Okay. Well, it does affect the ratio, obviously it does. But the whole thing with me in trading is not about the profit. It's if you look after the downside, the upside look after itself. If you worry too much about the target and you pile it too much because you want to get the target quicker, it's a bit like getting the road. You've got a fast car, it can handle it, and you want to get to Cape Town in 7 hours instead of 12 hours or whatever. So you're driving at 240 because the car can do it. That's fine if you make it, but you try it again. The next time you either crash and kill yourself, or you get stopped. You spend, instead of a holiday in Sea Point or in Bantry Bay, you spend it in, I don't know, in the Kourou police station. Not as sexy, if you get my point. That's very clear. I hope we're getting the overall concept of this. Okay. So make sure your risk is sorted out, your equity management sorted out, and you'll find that the profits look after themselves. And work on percentages, goodness sake. Okay, George made 1,000 rand today. Well, he's got a 10 grand account, so he made 10% today. He either got lucky or was overexposed. Right, Bill made 1,000 rand today. He's got a 1 million rand account. Well, he had a pretty quiet day because the percentages are different. Okay, hope that's all clear. Right, UNZD, see how it continues on. Making my bloody nose really. Not jumped up again, is it? It was absolutely flying, then it bloody jumped up. Was it oh God, that's it. What the hell's this thing doing? That's why I say thank you for that, Adele, because that explains in a point why you need stop loss and you've got to have it say go figure. This was an absolute beaut. Look at this in the hourly one. Let's just look at this. An absolute beaut. Comes off right down there. It's only a couple of hours ago, and 51.56, now it jumped up 70. Go figure. I have seen nothing that's happening on the pound. The pound story's tomorrow. The CAD a little bit, but I mean, we've had a little bit of weakness, but not that drastic difference. That's why you've got to have your stop loss and be careful. Because I'm confident, convinced you are, funny things happen. I mean, South Africa now top of the rugby table, but just before that game on Saturday, Argentina were. Who would have guessed that? You know what I'm saying? Well, that happens, I'm afraid. If it's about it, I wouldn't be too cute about moving it around. I can't actually on a recorded thing say move it away, because I'll get into trouble, because that's not a cool thing to do. Always modify it towards. But yeah, but maybe it's a bit of Canada coming out on the bloody CPI or something. But giving you a nosebleed is pissing me off. It annoys me when that happens, actually. Especially as a good one as well. Come back to it now. Brent's, I think, came off a bit as well, jumping around a bit. Yeah, Brent's coming off. Looks like I can hit my stop loss on that and modify it to 88.50. And then he went to 90, but hanged on when this happens. This is the market for you. And you know, such a brilliant day. And just you think this is all right, then the bomb drops on top of you. I'm convinced there's somebody up there in the clouds with nothing better to do than to annoy me. Okay. Where was the other? NZDJPY was another one getting a chip. Is that starting to try and come right? It's not sitting on its bloody backside doing squat when it was trying. Is it? Okay, what's Warren suggest? Yeah, well, I wouldn't listen to Warren, wouldn't listen to me. You do what you like there. Moving stop loss is a way to increase risk, not with pull. Unless you've got a big bank account large enough to handle it, don't cry afterwards. If you turn a grand loss into 5 grand loss, don't look at me. If you turn a grand loss, which is stopped out, into grand profit, try not to make a habit of it. Just be careful. AUD, USD. But I just think that Canada weakness is overcooked. I don't think it's that weak a currency. I think we'll cover. There you are. Okay, yeah, it's come off a bit. What did you go in at? So AUD 67.04. Yeah, it's doing okay. What's that, about 17, 18 pips in profit? It's doing okay. I'm not surprised looking back, actually. At the time, I still stand by my word. But with the dollar shooting up, etc., yeah, still don't think join it down at the moment. I'll stick with the guns on that, but ride it, keep your fingers crossed. Okay, but the dollar strength is doing its business. Okay. Right, done a lot of talking, going over questions asked and going over our previous trades. Anything else you want to discuss? Okay, fair enough. Anything else I've missed? Oh, S&P 500. That's right. Is that NASDAQ coming off at all? Bloody hell, I was going to know. I thought it'd be screaming now. Anyway, what's the S&P doing? Last look, we're not doing too badly. 38.47. We got it 39, so obviously doing pretty well. Jumping around a bit. I think leave the stop where it is at the moment. I still think we got some more downside. I don't want to get stopped out in a quick bounce and then you're not on board. So I think leave the stop where it is at the moment. And then if you take out 38, then we'll start moving it. Okay. At least it's in profit. That's something. But again, it's been a bit disappointing because, as I say, the yields being as high as they are, right about nearly 3.6, very negative of the market. Dollar above 110, negative. What's the Dow doing? Dow's still coming off now, 405 points down. What the hell's it doing up there? I think it's just jumping around for another down. So hold on to that. Don't get your stop too tight. You don't want to be knocked out. All right, with a 10 rand profit, you could make 100. So can't tell the future, but I think the probability is likely we've got a good chance of getting a lot more downside there. Okay, Seth, great. As always to have you. Fantastic. You'll catch Ash in the morning, but I'll be back next Wednesday. But we hope to have you then. Thanks very much, as always, for your excellent contribution. Oh, just putting out. Just notice your thing there. Knowledge, yeah. By coincidence, yeah. Smiling, but I still think we should be smiling more. That should be hitting 3.8 with the other indicators, called the fundamental indicators, are so negative at the moment. What the heck is down faster? I think it's collecting the big boys, watching the normal guys, retail guys chicken out, and then it's going to come off. That's what I think we will see. Don't join it now. Hold on if you're in. I hope we'll get a decent run out of this. Okay. Sometimes modifying your stop into profit can backfire. A good example, the US dollar Japanese yen. I modified it to 143.50. I made a very good profit out of it. So I thought, move at 143. When it was 143.65, 70, whatever it was, and it came down, stopped me out, and now it's back up above. So that's one of the downsides of modifying the profit, but I still think there are ways, leaving it miles away, and then find something's gone wrong, and your lovely profit is not gone down to zero, it's gone down to minus, then you're fed up. But it's your choice. Once you get the maths and the idea, the concept in place, then you can make your own choice which way you want to play it. I would quicker and get you guys away from the parrot fashion, which 90% of the guys, because they don't sort of trading or we look at it, parrot fashion, the better, because it's not an exact. You're going to think in your feet. Sounds like contradiction there, Warren. I think she probably misunderstood. I'm not that. I've done it. I won't lie. I've done it, but it's not something I encourage. Moving it away from entry. I'm more keen on moving it towards. Sometimes it's come out, but other times it's come back and burnt big time. What's that bloody NZDJPY doing? Don't tell me it's no. I mean, at least it's holding there. I still think there's upside here. I'll be honest, I'm sorry, the guys. I must stop 84.20 personally, 84.70. Some guys have got kicked out. I still see upside on this. You might not be keen to go in again, but if you do, I'm not against that. I still see upside there. I think the Japanese strength is overcooked. That's just a hell of a move down that. Sorry, just do this again. That's nearly 300 pips over the last 7 working days. But yeah, that's strong. I think you're going to get a bit of a recovery from here. I moved the stop line. I feel like it's going to reverse. To mellow, everybody says that. The real reason is that they don't want to get stopped out on the loss. They'll miss out, so they move it, hope it's going to hope. Feeling is not, unfortunately, the way. It's not one to encourage. Sometimes you'd rather be stopped out. If you get a better price, enter it again. But yeah, be careful. Did you on this one? Yeah. But I think the guys on this situation, I still see the upside. If you got stopped at 70, I still see the upside if you want to go in again. But people can lie to themselves, and usually it's emotional want, and they're denying the real reasons. Trust me, we've all done it, and I've learned the hard way on that myself. She speaks of 7, that's correct, yeah. Like the girlfriend that ditches you, or the boyfriend that ditches you, they say hi. Well, maybe they're still interested. Maybe they're just being polite. We just want to believe it. But I see some upside there. So if you're knocked out and you want to rejoin it, we can do it again. If you don't, I won't put the calculator on. But what's that bloody cat doing? If it's not this thing giving me jip, it's that one. I mean, most of them have done bloody well, so I shouldn't really whinge, but I do. Part of the British culture I picked up, I'm afraid. A flyman whinging pom there, Bruce. You have to have a too tight a stop. Make 84.20 like mine. And we can stick with this TP if you like. Well, make it down there, miles away. 86.30, there we are. In fact, just make 86, yeah, maybe 86.30, why not? You might get more. Don't forget, everyone talks about the hell is that? 86. Everybody talks about modifying SLs, but don't forget you modify TPs. If it starts pretty strong, Japanese yen weak, why not modify the TP up the way, right up there, modify your stop loss and ride the damn thing. Faith Lagarde is the president of the European Central Bank, the ECB. You've heard of Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed. She's the European equivalent. We've got, what's his name now? Enoch, try and get this right. Gondolwon. I've tried, I can't get that name. Enoch. He's our Titon Bueni, it's easy to pronounce. Now, Enoch Gondon. Anyway, equivalent. Yeah. Minister of Finance. Not the boss of the reserve. No, the reserve. That's I can't pronounce his name either. LK. I really battled, unfortunately. That's correct, Nasha. Yeah. No, I do a few things in life, but language is not my strong point. I'm the only one in the family that's fully unilingual. My sister spoke French and English. My father spoke 6 languages. My mother 3. And I'm sorry, I'm stuck with one, and I've got no excuse. Been here long enough. I just can't see languages apart from my own. I'm afraid to say, it's embarrassed to say, while the Afrikaner and the Dutch, some of the best linguists in the world, the English, two things are not good at, a few things, but two of them is languages and cooking. Well, chefs, but they're shall we say, their cooking culture. Sausage and mash, sausage and mash, and fish and chips and mushy peas. Not exactly getting the French get excited here. It's important you are aware of that. I'm glad you asked, Faith. That's why it's important to ask these questions. They're very, very important. Jerome, by far the most important. He says the wrong thing at the wrong time, he can wipe $1 trillion off the world's markets. He financially is probably the most powerful person on the planet. The most powerful mind shapers, the guys who control the information source, i.e. the mainstream media and publications and whatever, and the most powerful and financial, without doubt, is Powell. Very, very important. That's why I got lazy. I think it's probably a lot of English. That's why we got lazy. I mean, I've been in the Northern Cape and reading Afrikaans and they speak good English. Say, excuse me, my English is not so good. Meanwhile, they speak it fluently. You know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, makes you a bit more lazy side. In fact, some guys, I didn't know they're Afrikaans were English speakers. So good. Amazing. Anyway, moving along. Right, seems to be coming right. So guys joined it. Good stuff. Okay. President of the European Central Bank, ECB. The Fed, the Enoch Godalming, something like that. Anyway, yeah. Remember Tito Mboweni, which I can't pronounce. That sort of thing. Is it? Well, I say dropping. People do that finally. Was it dropped a lot, or was it just the noise? That's correct. That's not. People say, oh, it's dropping, because that's pure emotion. You know, it drops a few points. It will go up and down. That's not dropped a little bit. Yeah, gone up so quickly. We'll pull back. It's profit taking. It's a tradable instrument, remember? So we'll be profit taking. So yeah, it's dropped back a little bit, but then it's bouncing back up again. Yeah. I think it's going to be fairly strong going into tomorrow because it's just about priced in 75. We know the inflation is hectic in the US. The big question is, will it be 1%? You'll see the dollar fly down if it's 0.5%, put it that way. So I'm going to stick my neck out, 75 basis points. There you are tomorrow, but 1%, then you're going to see the bloody dollar shoot. Northwards, that is. Okay, now we know. Right, okay. What the hell is NASDAQ doing up there? Is that the S&P's going up now? Yes, it is. Go bloody figure. Okay, anyway, that's what it is. So I'll knock this off. Where are we now? AUD CAD, is that coming off at all? Just a new one we got in on. Now it's about the same. Not much happening there. Might pop around in there, pop its head up and then come off, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. Right, okay. That GBP CAD, I knew there's somebody bugging me. Is that still going bloody up? No, this is definitely bloody more than annoying because it was doing so well before. Hey, am I right, guys? That was a beaut. Well, if the dollar strengthens, it would be good for a gold short, yeah. So the only thing that's going to tip gold up is if they get the dollar weakness, the yields come off, or even more important, a bomb goes off in New York or something, then gold will go through the roof. Then you got bigger worries in your trade, trust me. Hope it's all sort of falling into place, bits and pieces. Repetition's the name of the game. Don't overcomplicate. Repetition till you can change gear automatically. Till you can go and look at it. Let's pick one out. What about this one here? What about this one here? Look at it. Buy zone on the daily check. Yep, okay. Buy zone. Euro's a bit weak in the pound, but not that much. So what are we buying up here? No, wouldn't be selling. No, wouldn't leave it alone. Bang. Get the idea. After a while, if you see a possible trade, you go into more depth. You should, with a bit of practice, like changing gear. You'll get the idea. That's because you haven't got half a dozen indicators and complications getting in the way to be clutter up the system. And paralysis by analysis. I think it will. I mean, I've been stopped on the profit, but I'm going to jump back in now. But I think so. that for whatever reason, anything can happen to the markets, comes back 40, 50 pips, I'll probably join you again. A little bit, but it's not come off that much. Went right up the last hour to 110, 22, 23. It's now 110. Not come off much. It's a couple of buys coming. There's not much happening. That's building perm's not that big a deal. It's there, but it's not big. It's all about interest rates, inflation, and power at the moment. That's what you're going to worry about. Well, it's important to come to trading room. You see this now, that's what he's asking. Is you trade pure and technicals, double tops and quadruple bottoms and whatever. And then you wonder why something happens, because you got to know what's happening on that. And remember, everybody's got a smartphone now, where well, everybody's trading. If you can't afford a smartphone, you can't afford to trade. You know? So everyone who can afford to trade has got a smartphone. So the information is instant. It wasn't like that in the past. So they didn't have so much at play in the past. But now we've got all this information at fingertips, cheap, easy to get at. So it plays a big part. And that's why you've got to be more aware than you were in the past. Okay. Thanks, Jerry. Good stuff. Hope all clear on that. Sometimes it happens. Thank you, finally. Had this a couple of months ago when there's nothing particularly big happening. Most of the Ukrainian war had been priced in, etc. Maybe 6 weeks, I can't remember. And then we're sitting, it was a Wednesday, and we're in the trading room, and there's, I can't remember which way it was, and there's quite a big difference in the inventories. Remember, every Wednesday around about was for the oil inventories come out from the US. Everything from the US, and it was much, much bigger or worse than expected. Very different to what we expected. And we didn't see much movement in the oil price. Normally it's fairly quick, not sometimes instant, like on the non-farms, but it's quite slow. Why is it so slow? Oil sometimes can take a bit of time to actually hammer through the guys. And they suddenly woke up, hang on a minute, then the oil price, as in Brent and WTI, responded. It was quite a bit of time, I can't remember how long, 20 minutes or so, after release before it actually big time reacted. So sometimes you get that. So what I'm trying to say is nothing, I know you want to get this, something you want to grasp onto, you want to grasp, but nothing is cut and dry. It's where you think in your feet, and it's very good, keeps you mentally alive. Stops you have to wade through crosswords, because it keeps you mentally on your toes. If you like mental stimulation, this is the business for you, trust me. But don't think you get in the car to Joburg to go to Durban, 3 hours in Harrismith, 6 hours in Durban. It doesn't work that way. Funny things happen on the way. So just bear that in mind. Interpretations is, I think the best way to put it, human interpretation is always different. I take you out wherever you happen to be to see a film. I think it's a brilliant film. What a brilliant film, hey, whoever you are, sitting next to me. And the person, whoever you're sitting next to me, is like, well, BS. What a crap, that was rubbish. So it's human interpretations are often different to what you expect. You know what I say? Have something in common. You know what I mean? No, wow, that was a great film. Now we're going to take it to something else. I think it's brilliant. And you think, what's that? So it's different interpretation. Music's a classic example, because that's probably the highest form of art, especially on the emotional side. I mean, my favorite, and you think, what I've heard of all rubbish, vice versa. Okay, so yeah, if you get a pull back, not you guys, me, if I get a pull back, I'm going back in again, but I'm not joining it now. If I miss out, tough. Okay, is gold still coming off? Probably hovering around that. Come off a bit, but anyway, missed that one. The NAS playing silly buggers at the minute, but all information out there. I'm not sure. I think it's going to come off sometime, if not this afternoon, tomorrow. Okay, I just thought of a reason, guys. I'm waffling there. I think there's a lot of very nervous big traders there. There's a slew of interest rates coming over the next 2 days, are jumping in and out and getting nervous for looking at anything particularly big and long term. So any explanation come out of it? Okay, why it's not happening as much? We sure can, but if I can find one. Okay, sure can, we can find one. Okay. Put on the day, that tells me nothing. Normally I like Walmart in the long term. But look at this, we're getting a bit of divergence, convergence, convergence on the two moving averages here. That's sideways, that's sloping up, expected upside. This is not tech, this is defensive stock. Remember I mentioned that before? You lose your job, you might cut down luxuries, but you can't cut out your food, you die. So it's a defensive stock. And so then it's the biggest in the world. So long term, I see upside and to join it now. I think what we should be looking for is some stocks that are a bit on the higher side, surprisingly on the high side, that we can short. That's what we should look at. Yeah, I think it'll be knocked out, Brent. Yeah, been knocked out. No, it's gone up again. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, no, I'm still in. Good stuff. Okay, where were we? CAD JPY still hovering. Where were we? Yeah. So if you can find some tech stocks or some high up, in other words, I want to sell a rally, but at a higher price. So you can find what, point it out to me. For the wrong reasons. For the ZAR not happy. So if you guys there look at a stock, and you've got the idea of learning here. If it's sort of look to short it and it's up here somewhere, that's we can look to short it. If it's down here, I wouldn't be shorting it. Give an example. Baba. That's one of the weaker tech stocks. Definitely want to short it, but I don't want to put it here. I want to short it maybe there. I was hoping if it gets there, I might short it. 18 there now. There's one to keep an eye on. 89.50, 89.60 area. Short that if it gets there, but I want to short it here. I might miss it, but there it is. No, I guess that's what he meant. Yeah, I guess that. Flying, because he's using the base currency. ZAR definitely ain't flying. Where it's carrying on, you get an American come over here, flashing $1 in his pocket, and suddenly looking to buy a house. Slight exaggeration. Okay, yeah, so there's one I want you to keep an eye on. Baba to short, you can get a couple of dollars higher than this. Apple, that's one of the stronger ones. I still see the short. Is that going to hold? This is a possibility of a short. This is a possibility of a short. It's one of the strongest stocks in the tech stable, but it's still got a problem with the overall upcoming downside, which I expect to come. So this is a possibility of a short. BA, we can look at that. Before we go to BA, what about this for a short? Where can we put the stop loss? Wow, what a pleasure. Can we put it up here? Yes, we can. Remember Obama? Yes, we can. Remember, it's $150. So a $9 stock is not outrageous. Clearly, again, guys, use your mathematical common sense. If it's a $40 stock, $10 stock is ridiculous, far too high. So $1,000 stock, well, we got one. $1,000 stock, you certainly wouldn't have a $10 stock. We knocked out in the noise. Again, use percentage. Okay, I think we got a chance of this one, yeah. So if you like this one, $9 stock, and can we get a decent TP? No, that's not good at all. Take it down to here. That's 19. Yeah, you can do that. Take it down to there. 136.68. So I can write it down because you don't. 136.68. $169. Make it 165. And then where are we now? 155.35. Sell. P SLTP. Now remember, guys, you cannot get into this before or after 10:30, 3 or 10, because that's when the market's open on shares. Number one. Number two, you can't use this risk reward calculator. You can't do that. You've got to use the one in your LMS on the resources. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Well, I'm going to make a life a lot easier. I don't need it personally. What's the cost? Number one, the cost is 0.4% of exposure. Peanuts. Number two, what's the margin? Don't you have to check? I tell you, all of them are 5%. What's 5 into 100 is 20. So all of them are 20 to 1. Leverage, 5% margin for deposit. Okay, right. Now, what's the volume? Don't put in 0.2 for goodness sake. Then you get to TP and you've made 50p. It's not worth it. It's a different volume, much larger volume stocks. So the thing is now, if you get in now to 165 from 155.40 is $9.40. So for each $9.40, the volume is 1.0, as one share. So if you want to risk $14, 1.5. If you want to $18, it's 2. You get the idea. In fact, we'll make it a straight 164.30. There we are. Make 35. Make it a straight $49. So it's quite simple to do that. If you want to do it, I'll print it on the chat line. Anyone want to do this short? Please get your damn volumes right. Don't put 0.2 in or something stupid. If you can afford to lose $100, you need to put in maybe like 10.0. It's $9 per 1.0. What's that in rands? Good question. It's about 160 rand per share. So 160, one share, 240, 1.5, 320, 2.0. You get the idea. Okay, anyone want to do this or not? He's an extremely talented guy, that's not surprised. See on chat shows, you know, a very bright lad. He knows his stuff. Seriously switched on. I mean, he gets all this money, but the reason is because he's so incredibly talented. Whether you like him, not the point. Whether he agrees with politics or not, is not the point. He's extremely talented. Anyway, moving on. Anyone want to do this? Okay, Warren, good stuff. Want to do this? Nope. All right, we'll move on. What was the other one? BA. Again, looking for a short. This is not a tech stock. Remember, it's Boeing. Fuel price have an effect on it. Recession has an effect on it because people don't fly. They use Zoom instead. Short the rally. I like it, to be honest, Adele, but I'd rather have a higher price. I'd rather get in around 151 mark. So I don't want to buy it. I want to short the rally. If it goes up, so be it. But it might not go up. It's too risky to buy it. Rather sell the short. Okay. So we'll leave that one. If you don't want to do Apple, we'll look at Microsoft. No, that's too. No, it's far too far. Leave it. Does anyone come up with Apple for a short? You want to do that? No. So well, if you do, we'll tell me. We'll put it down. It's that cat coming off the tools. Bloody thing. You might irritate me. You might, if you're still in, might get some luck out of this one. Okay, right. So no more to Apple, finish and clear. Anything else you want to look at? Anything else on review? They're already in. Want to check it out? Anything like that? I tell you what, talking about access layer T-Link, one of the most difficult is the South African one. I mean, most of the guys in the play South African parts, they just overdo it. They just don't get it right. I saw Blood Diamond, and I think he's a very talented actor, Capriati. He wasn't bad, but even he, you could tell it was an American speaking it. You know? It's not easy. Afrikaans accent, all that. And the English one's next to impossible. It's neutral, it's pretty close to Queen's English. Tesla, good idea, Tesla. It's another one I want to short the rally if we can get a decent entry. See, a lot that's being held up the stocks is actually oil. Oil's been quite high, so a lot of oil stocks have been pushing it up. That's tough. Remember, we have the share split, guys. I talked about it. That's nothing to do with it falling out of bed. That's a share split. Why do you have the share split? Quickly go over for the new guys. At $900 a shot, it was a little bit too high for the retail trade. So the share splits. Every guy with one share will automatically have 3 shares and divide it by 3. Simple as that. So if you short at 900, woke up, it was 300. No, you still haven't made any money because now you got 3 for 1. It's just it's like 17 to 1 to the rand. Didn't say suddenly you got $17. No, it's the exchange rate. Anyway, so probably get clear on this one here. Not getting clear at all. This is rubbish. Oh, that's no good. I need that chart there. Yeah, but I like it though. Even on the 4 hour, I can't see much. I like it. I think the texts are going to come off. I think this is going to come off. I haven't seen any area there to give you confirmation. It's a whole 5 on it, but I think leave it for the moment and maybe discuss it further tomorrow with Ashley to see the possibility. He might turn around and see a buy. I'm not so sure about that. I think there's going to be some downside, but the momentum's up at the moment. I think we're going to reach exhaustion. I think it might come off. So I think it's going to come off. So it's not a drop. Like I said, it did not drop. It just had a share split. Anybody not know what I'm talking about? This is important. Okay, Adele, fine. Anybody not understand me on that? It did not drop at all. It just had a 3-to-1 share split. Please tell me if you don't know what I'm talking about. That's very important. We had a lot of kickback from people. I want my money. I made X amount. You didn't make anything, just a share split. You got it now. Please, you must understand. If you don't, it's not being daft. You've got to know that. Rather be daft and learn. It's common sense. $3,000 a share. Institutions can afford it, but man the streets, you're missing out on a large market. Well, let's have a 10-to-1 share split and bring it from 3,000 down to 300. Apple's done it, Amazon's done it, Google's done it, they've all done it. Yeah, just to make it affordable. So the guys already had 1, now they've got 10. Simple as that, exchange rate. Okay, you're in fine. Anyone joining him? So I'll put it down. What will we buying long on Netflix? Nothing wrong with the product. The problem they're dealing with Netflix is the competition. Nothing wrong with the product. But it used to be a monopoly. Now it ain't. Amazon, Disney, what else is on board? Showmax, BritBox. There's a lot of guys coming on board as we speak. It's just a competition. Now, so be careful long in Netflix. Shorter at it. Okay. Well, I don't doubt you love it, but I love a lot of things. Whether I buy it or not, another story. I love that little restaurant just across the road where they sell the most beautiful whatever. The trouble is nobody else does, so I won't invest in it. Okay, anyway, so Apple, anyone join an Apple? Okay, right. Put it down for you, just make sure the figures are still okay. Something shot down too far. Getting a better price is fine. Okay, that's fine. Right, go to this price here. AAPL. Don't forget the dot afterwards. SL164.30. TP 136.68. Make it 70. Okay. So the risk, if you enter now, I'll take one to the other. 156 to that is going to be 8.3. Is 8.3, or what's that? It's about 1856 is what's it? 540, 126, about 130 rand a share. Is that right? Maybe a bit more, 135 a share. Per share means per 0.01. You can do a split and do 1.4 or 1.5, but get your figures right. If you want to risk 500, you can go for 3.7 or something, divide it in. If you haven't done a share yet, Adele, maybe you can try 2 shares, just a small amount, just to give it a go. It won't hurt, but you should try that. It's up to you anyway. If you're not sure, don't go too big, but don't go ridiculously small. Don't want anybody there putting 0.01 in. You can if you like, but it hits your TP and you make 20 rand, you're not going to be a happy chappy. And plus, you've got to learn, it's the difference in volumes. Don't be scared of putting 20 in when you're used to putting 0.1 in there. Don't do 20 on this, that's too big. Depending on your accounts, first. Anyway. What is the NAS doing? Is it jumping? Shouldn't be. Coming up a bit. The Dow is now 350 off. The yields are through the roof, nearly 3.6. Dollar came off a bit, but still okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. So if you're not sure, leave it. Start 1 or 2 shares, yeah. You waste your time, Adele, on 1, maybe put 2. Comes right well down. If it doesn't, it's not good. Okay, while you're all pondering that, you got the idea now about how to work it out now, if you want to do it. Stop loss TP, and it's $8.30 or right about 135 where exchange rate is per 1.0. One share, one. If you can't afford 2 shares, go 1.5. But get the position size right. Yeah, it depends what the stop was. If it was a $5 stop, $100, fair enough. If it's $20 stop, you win 20. If you're reaching 400, it's about 7,000 rand. Not a cool idea. Get the idea. Good man. Thought you were. Thought you might be. Good man. Great. It's tough enough to learn the markets, but teach people sort of 8-year-old arithmetic. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. Look at this red. Come on, red. Actually, good point there, Dale. You've already done the BA, haven't you? So you've already done the share, so you know the score on it. If you don't feel like doing Apple, rather leave it. It's not like a tryout. You've done it before. Rather leave it. Rather concentrate on your willpower and getting that bloody pound down. And the NZD JPY up. I'm just trying to give this to you. What the other ones, the Euro ones, you weren't doing too badly earlier on. EUR, what do we have? The EUR CHF. Let's try to come back off, see a bit clearer. Just give me a second. Just popping around, but it's trying to come back off. That's not so bad. What was the other one you weren't doing too badly in? Euro, something else. Can't remember. Euro. Can't remember. Was it Euro? It was Euro. What was it again? Euro AUD? No, it wasn't that one. What was the other one, Adele? NZD. Euro NZD. That's right. Thank you. That's right. It was there. That's not doing too badly either. I think we're okay there at the moment. You got in a bit higher up, so you should be doing okay still on that one. And the Euro JPY, was that one we had out? No, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one at all. I won't be doing that one at all. Euro JPY, absolutely not. If I did, I'm sorry. Don't agree. Euro AUD, did we do that one? No, AUD CAD. Let's still the AUD CAD. That's when we got it on. What's happening there? Nothing. Well, nothing at all. Okay, fair enough. Not bad, not good. Nothing at all. S&P, is it trying to come off at all? Bloody thing. But anyway, leave where it is. Hopes that'll come nice. Okay, see how that goes. Okay, anything else you want me to review? Last few minutes? Nothing at all? Happy? Happy Faith, Gabriel, some of the guys don't get lost out. John, Cabello, Sephora, Ricky, Tebo, Templeton, all happy? Anyone not sure? Anyone ask anything? Rent for a while, I prefer better price. 88. 88.50, 88 preferably. Mentioned a few. You left lucky and profit. That sounds good to me, what that means. Yeah, don't get too cutely here. I think maybe a little bit better. If you miss out, you miss out. Personally speaking, if you're in, hold on. If you're not in, move your stop to entry or whatever. But if you're not in, I think try and get a better price. Okay. Okay. You're good, Sabora. Good face, good. Mentioned a few. I'm not sure what that means. I hope that's good. I hope that means, I hope that's nice. Okay, see you tomorrow, guys, then. I think we're all good now. I don't want to push something we're not. And you're in good hands tomorrow with Mr. Moses. And hopefully you get some good stuff going there. And I'll catch you next Wednesday. Okay. Have fun. Okay. Cheers. Thank you very much. You all seem to be okay, so that's good. Happy with that. Great. Cheers. Thanks, finally. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, mate. Thanks. Thanks, Red Sharp. You'll get there. Stick around, mate. Keep in touch. Cheers, mate.